G'day everyone, it's Warren and Colleen here from NQ Explorers. Today we're at a remote old railway house site that we detected about 12 months ago with the Apex when it was first released. Two really interesting finds out of here. We only spent about an hour. An old shilling and a Chinese coin from the 1600s. Don't know why there's a Chinese coin here. I'm not entirely satisfied that there were Chinese workers on this railway, but anyway, we're going to spend a few hours in here. The grass is long, it's going to be tough, but we've got bigger calls on today so we can hover up high above the grass, and smaller calls if we need to switch out later. Thanks for watching. Back shortly with our first find. Here's my first target of the day. It's a lipstick tube with the lipstick in situ, half used. I guess that's some sort of alloy. It could be brass or whatever they copper. It's a good high reading on the machine. I think it was in the 70s, so there's the lipstick inside. Any reports yet? What do you got?
Some roofing nails.
Yeah, I'm the same.
The red with red on it.
Yep.
And
oh, the red oxide.
Yeah, it just looks like some old type of ring pull things.
Oh, like not early, really early, like platypus tail ring pulls.
Yeah.
So the house, I think based on the aerial photographs, the house was still here in 1972, so that'd make sense.
Oh, yeah.
The railways must have pulled it down then. But anyway, I've got to find up the back here. We'll go and have a look at that. Okay, we're right under the shadow of the prickly pear here in the backyard. I assume the clothesline was out here somewhere. Actually, I've just noticed there's a bit of wire in the tree. That could have been part of the clothesline. And here's my find. It's typical of an 1800s, early 1900s house. Bit of homemade entertainment. Harmonica reading, good nick actually. Only a small harmonica, but that's a ripper, that one. It's a very high signal, 88, 89. So when we say in Queensland, we talk about detecting in grass and how you can't get onto a site because of grass. This is what I mean, waist deep grass. Have a look at this, what we're dealing with today. But I've got a find over here. I found this bare patch where it looks like a roo's been laying. And over in this spot here, I think I've got a little piece of jewellery. Looks like it's got a little green stone in it. So I'll just get down close and we'll have a look. Now here it is, it's a strange shape. It was a 78, 79. Looks to be gilt. Weirdly shaped. Oval with two attachment points and maybe a green stone in it. I'll give it a bush clean and see if we can find out what this is. Well, that's pretty cool. It's a lion, possibly silver, with an emerald in its mouth, or a green stone, probably not an emerald. But look at that. It's got some sort of pendant, weird sideways thing on it. I'm not really sure. I'll give that a proper clean. We'll do some still pics when we get home. But yeah, that was a high tone 7980 in this little spot where the rood lay down and allowed me access to this bit of grass. Okay, I've just taken that little jewellery find over to Colleen. She tells me it's a tiger, not a lion. A tiger with a green stone of some description in its mouth. But she's got a really interesting find over here, which looks to be homemade jewellery out of lead, which is kind of things that went on in the 1800s. They entertained themselves with making these kind of things because couldn't afford to buy actual jewellery, of course. Okay, homemade jewellery.
It might be because see, it's sort of like it's got some
put
sort of
like
edging
a floral edge on it,
and a flat.
and it looks like they're going to drill a hole to hang it on you.
Well, actually, it looks like there may have been something attached.
Oh, it's been attached to something.
Or maybe it's had a loop there, and
yeah, but that could have even been off a bit of tableware. Or
could have been.
That's a nice old find, actually. It's definitely been fabricated.
Yes.
Yeah, and maybe it's had something on there that's been dismounted. Nice.
Interesting to clean it up and see, because it seems to have lines around it as well.
Well, we'll get some clean photos of it later. Well, this is a nice find.
Yeah, just an old window latch.
Old brass latch to be off the house.
Yeah, and it was just on the surface here. Look, you can still see the print.
Oh, okay. When the house was demolished, the windows
nice
came out, or they salvaged the windows. So what do you got here? Oh, a nice little brass buckle.
Yeah. It's lost its tongue, but
that could be a bridle or a reins or something, or it looks more like horse related, doesn't it? Okay, so today we're privileged to be on private property by invite to a site that's never been detected. This old homestead here in front of that peppercorn tree dates from the 1870s, we believe. No one's ever been here with a machine. You can see these massive timber stumps that the the old homestead was built on. They're not all standing anymore. Some have been pulled out eons ago and stacked over there. There's some down the back. And you can see there's an orchard down there, back towards the sun where Colin and Phil are. There's an orange or a citrus orchard back there. So this is the old original homestead, long abandoned, very substantially built with these stumps. They're perfectly level on top too if you run your eye across them. Creek down there, so they've got a water source, and we believe they accessed it from a laneway up there on the hill. Over that way there was a church, which is now a private residence. So a community of about 1,000 people in here, but this homestead long abandoned, dating from the mid to late 19th century. So super good relics in here. We'll have a crack at it, and we'll be back shortly with the first find. Well, here's my first relic of the day. It was an 84 on the Max. Beautiful big old brass buckle. That's solid brass, so it's got a steel pin, but a bit of horse tack or something, I'd say. That's a beautiful bit of solid brass. Nice one. Okay, Colin's got a report. Just walk through the stump. She's out what we believe would have been the front of the house. Don't know what that big post there for. Maybe corner post. Anyway, what are you claiming? Some brass item?
Yeah, it is like brass. I don't know if it's something for a cane or... I don't think it's a...
Oh.
I think I've seen it before. That sort
It's
of
like a
thing,
squashed tube, isn't it?
Yeah.
Could be the end off a cane or something, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So Colin's on Apex today with the Viper coil. Phil's also got an Apex down there with the Viper. Okay, I'm actually inside the stumps of the house. Assuming something fell through the floor, and it has. Here it is, this beautiful old 1800s spoon. It's a ripper, that one. That'll be hallmarked up here. See if I can get a... Well, it'll definitely have a maker's mark on it. Look at that. Beautiful old 1800s tablespoon, I suppose it'd be. There's Colin's next find. What have we got?
I think it's a little cover.
Oh, definitely. That's could be off a lock.
Yeah, for a lock.
Oh, it's off a lock, a big old padlock.
Okay.
Yeah, like the scutcheon cover, whatever, the keyhole cover. Nice, bit of brass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, just get the mother of all brass buckles under the old peppercorn tree. Look at that. That's solid brass. There's so much of that. Must have been like a belly strap off a saddle or something. That is a huge chunk of brass. Steel pin, all in situ. Obviously all horse related transport here. There's no motor vehicles. More brass work right next to that buckle, almost in the same hole. I've never found anything like that kind of shape. Maybe human buckle related, not horse. Not sure. Next target's fairly expected, next to a homestead. It looks like it's part of a oil lamp or something. Brass ring, possibly lamp related. Okay, the buckle theme continues. I've got more brass buckle with steel pin. Smaller one this time. I just got this fuel cap, which probably dates from the 20s or 30s, so obviously the house was still here then. But well, that's just about 100 years ago anyway. So, wasn't horse related, they weren't fueling the horses. Well, the brass buckles are bound under the old peppercorn tree. This one's still got the leather strap in it, look at that. Not sure if that's a human bit of accessory or a horse. Nice, it was a 65. So this is the old peppercorn tree. Planted on the western side of the house to shade it in the hot afternoon sun. The main trunk's collapsed, and then a couple of its babies have grown up since, but that's a massive trunk there that was right behind the back western corner of the homestead to keep it shaded in the summer. Right, here's my next find. It's an escutcheon, maybe off a trunk or a locker of some description. Just heading over here, there's a concrete slab. It was a dairy farm, so this is probably the dairy. You can see there's a bit of an old fence line, a little bit of a little yard structure remaining. we'll go and have a look over this concrete slab. Got a lovely clean signal here. 67, 69, 70. Haven't disturbed it. I'll dig it and reveal what we get. This is only the second one of these I got from the side. It's a lead top off the roofing now. That was the target, 68. So I'm right now adjacent to this, what we think was the dairy building. So that's off the old corrugated iron roof. So you can see the old peppercorn tree behind me. You know, about 30 metres from the house where it appears to be where the dairy is. The length of the house sort of runs east-west, so we believe the veranda would face north for the northern sun, because it gets cold up here in the mountains in winter. We assumed the clothesline to be at the back, but we didn't find anything out the back, so we don't know where the clothesline was. Usually there's a tank stand with the washroom and everything, and that's where the clothesline was, but we'll have a look around this old dairy just here. Well, I didn't find much around the dairy. Colleen's called me back to the homestead here. She's got to find. The wind's picking up. Hope that's not going to affect the audio too much. Oh, you got a nice stirrup. Is that steel or brass? Steel.
Steel. But it must have been a stable here or something, because all I'm getting is the brass.
We've found so many buckles. I actually stopped filming the big brass buckles.
Oh,
and
really
you got
nice
a couple.
Though. Yeah.
Beautiful brass. There's no. I don't think I found a steel buckle. They're all brass.
Yeah.
And a stirrup right in the middle of the. Well, we assume this is the homestead because there would have been outbuildings, but this is the most substantial remnant. Yeah. Oh, all nice work. Okay, we've discovered an interesting spot here. We've got two posts close together. Maybe it was a gate to a yard, but just past it, I've got a little find that's. Here's another buckle. Yet another buckle. It's quite a buckle, eh? So this one's a human buckle. It's definitely off a set of braces. But that's old, solid brass. Nice one. So what we've got here is the remnants of the old orchard. Obviously a citrus. You can see the spikes. And these fellas, which look very healthy, enjoying a bit of grass in amongst the old the ruins of the orchard. Probably orange trees. Okay, I'm in the orchard I just showed you, and I've got a old timers button, 1800s button for sure. About 7 inches down. It's quite deep, and it's branded best make with the 2 stars on the side. Nice one. There's 4 holes there. It's come adrift while I've been picking citrus fruit. Well, I hope you enjoyed that visit to the old homestead. Not a lot of personal items there. We've got the spoon and the button and a lot of horse tack, which has kind of led us to believe that we think that was the house, but obviously under that old peppercorn tree it was just abundant brass buckles. Maybe that's where they tied the horses up in the shade. I guess that makes sense. No coins, which is not surprising because we're actually in the middle of farmland and wouldn't have been any money needed to be thrown around, so that's okay. We had a great morning in here. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye for now.